welcome everyone to episode 33 Shark Attack Case Files. So, I'm off on holiday in August and I'm going to go to Greece. So, I'm going to go to Kefalonia for a week, which will be great. But I don't know about you guys, but every time I go on holiday, I always have to do a quick search to see where the nearest shark attacks are, just so I'm privy to all the information, so I don't do anything stupid. So we're actually going to look at a couple of attacks that took place in Greece, the closest ones I could find to basically where I'm going on holiday. I mean, we already looked at an attack in Greece in episode 12, but let's jump into this and we'll look at a couple of attacks in Greece. So in terms of statistics, yeah, I mean, just because Greece has been populated for like thousands of years, I mean, there's been, as you well know, dating back to sort of Spartan times, and then into the Roman Empire and all that stuff. There's been people around the Aegean for thousands of years, so that only goes to show that there's been 21 confirmed attacks over that period. Sort of first ones dating back into like 493 BC. Last fatality was 1963, and there's actually been 16 confirmed great white shark fatalities in Greece. But obviously that's over a hell of a long period, but it's up there in the power rankings anyway. So we'll just look at two attacks off Greece. So the first one we're going to look at was off a boat, off a yacht moored up just off Corfu, and it took place in 1956. And there's a young 15-year-old Greek girl who was with her family. So there's no exact name of the girl. So the family name was Magoulis. And yeah, she was swimming. She was attacked by a large great white shark. The time is unknown. There's no detail on the exact date or the water depth, but they were just parked off the island, so they were probably in a reasonable water depth, but nothing crazy. Maybe sort of 50, 60 feet of water maybe, and just off the island. So they were probably maybe 50 meters offshore, maybe, yeah, something like that. The water temperature there is about 26 degrees, 79 Fahrenheit, and it was a fatal attack and predation. And she dived off a yacht. So yeah, the young girl was bitten by a large great white shark immediately as she dived into the water from the yacht, more just within the bay. And the yacht had been actually in the middle of some dolphins minutes earlier, so they'd been like sailing before they moored up, and there'd been dolphins around the boat. And after approaching the coast on sort of a social family trip, the incident was actually witnessed by her parents and then a variety of other people on board the yacht. And her body was, unfortunately never recovered, and the shark completely predated her. And it's possible the shark was following the yacht, maybe stalking the dolphins, and as soon as the yacht stopped and the girl entered the water, the shark just attacked her straight away and killed her. So that's the first one. So that's just off Corfu, not too far from where I'm going to be. Well, obviously years ago. And then we'll look at this other attack. Yeah, this is quite an infamous attack, obviously, but dating back to 1948. And this attack took place just actually not far off Athens. Obviously, Athens is a big city. Voxakia Beach in the Aegean. So this is the Aegean here. This attack took place Wednesday in September. I think I did have the date, but that's gone. But yeah, I think it was something like the 15th, Wednesday the 15th of September 1948. And this guy Demetrius, a 17-year-old kid, basically, he was swimming and he was believed to be attacked. There was quite a few witnesses by a very large shark, so a 21-footer, 6.4 meter shark, and it was in 4 o'clock in the afternoon. And he was only 5 meters from the shore, so about 15 feet from the shore, in about 3 meters of water, about 9 foot of water. It was a full moon phase, and water temperature there was about 25 degrees, 77 Fahrenheit. And again, it was a fatal attack and total predation, and he was swimming with friends after they'd been fishing. So the narrative on this one is that early in the afternoon, Demetrius and his buddies, they were fishing in at the cave of Kalou, just close by, just behind the power station apparently. And he was with 3 of his fellow students, 18-year-old Lilas, and a 19-year-old George, and 20-year-old Demetrius, another guy called Demetrius. And after they'd finished fishing, he decided that he would go into the sea for a dip, and his friends were sort of close behind him. And Demetrius sort of dived in, and then literally he'd not been in the water more than a minute, and then he just sort of started yelling frantically. And then his three mates just saw a very very large shark just sort of pounce on him, and initially it just bit his arm clean off. And after removing his right arm, the shark then bit him again, sort of from the head and the shoulder sort of lumbar region, and then sort of swam off with the body. But it didn't actually swim too far, and the shark was actually still close to the shore as it was like eating Demetrius, sort of swallowing him. And his friends were actually close enough, and they were throwing stones at it to try and drive it away. And and the guy said that as the shark was sort of swallowing him, this guy was like screaming, "George, save me, save me!" But obviously his friends couldn't do nothing. They just looked on in sort of shock, sheer astonishment and fear as this guy was just being, their mate was just being eaten by this massive shark. Yeah, and meanwhile, yeah, the shark just sort of moved again after he'd like ate him, and it just sort of hung around just offshore. And there was actually some fishermen close by, and they'd heard the commotion, and they sort of rowed over on their boat, and then the shark apparently sort of charged the rowing boat as well, sort of like a sort of that competitive behaviour that we've seen when the sharks sort of get territorial. So this shark sort of ran over, sort of swam over, rammed this fishing boat as well after it had eaten this kid. Yeah, I mean, they said that these three young guys were sort of screaming. Then the police rocked up as well in like another boat apparently, well, all the sort of like the Coast Guard, because it's like this is quite a built up area even back then, not close, not too far from Athens. And then the second boat as well saw the shark, and it was still quite close to the shore, but there was sort of nothing they could do. And eventually the shark just sort of moved away from the area. Yeah, and that was the incident over with. And they actually sort of tried to ban swimming in that local area on that beach, but apparently that beach was so popular that people just sort of swam there anyway. And there was sort of like a local joke, and translated into Greece they renamed the beach sort of Restricted Beach, and then they reckon even to this day the beach is still sort of named after that infamous attack on that young boy. Even back then in 1948, people still sort of know about it. Yeah, but obviously, again, we've mentioned it in other videos, it's extremely rare nowadays, sort of like 50, 60, 70 years later. Yeah, there's still and I did have another slide. I'll flash up a picture. There was like off Tunisia about a month ago, there was a massive great white shark caught, unfortunately, off the coast of Tunisia, just down here. So like there's still big sharks in the Med. So that was only literally a month ago. I'll try and throw a picture of it up at the end of the video. Yeah, but that's a short one today. I'm working on another video which will be a bit longer, but anyway, laters.